what I'd like to do is look at your scaled sketches in format and a couple of examples. We'll look through those quickly. And then I want to show you what I do with my resources. Okay, so that I'll grab a couple of different types of resources, run them through. I like Photoshop. This actually can be done in Photoshop or Illustrator. You can do vectors and whatever in Illustrator. You can actually import, place Photoshop bitmaps into Illustrator. I think it works better the layers are much better, the tools are much better in Photoshop. And eventually it gets rasterized in the end. So that seems like a good way for me to do it. So, do you want to just quickly go through and look at your sketches? Who wants to start?
Well, John, when I met with you, you said I could get my assets together. You said I was done with sketching.
Yeah, you are done with sketching, but they haven't seen your sketches.
Okay. All right, I'll go first then. Let me just pull it up.
Sure.
If I could find it.
Hey, it's important to realize that one thing we're really trying to make up for is the studio. And in the studio, it's most of us don't notice it, but when someone's doing one thing and someone's doing another and you glance over or you hear us discussing something, that there is a big contribution being made just by being in the room and talking. And so that's why I would like you, Victoria, to show yours and everybody else, even though you are done sketching with it, so that they can see, everyone else can see how you did it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. Oh, I got to do the thing again. There you go.
Okay, so these are my new sketches that I did. So should I explain them again?
Quick explanation. Yep.
So the one on the left is basically, because I remember the other class we discussed about, he wanted me to do on one side of the poster, do like the nice version of Hong Kong, and the other side be like the version that is like going under protest with like the smokes and fire and everything. So I did that. The one in the middle, I don't know if anyone knows that like famous Banksy like figure of him like throwing like flowers, but I did that figure and instead of flowers, I did like tear gas or something like that. And then Hong Kong in the background still, and also like smoke or fire. And then the one on the right is like the protester holding like the Hong Kong flag and all like the protesters around them, and like a picture of Hong Kong in the background still. And then the one I think that we decided to go with was in my original sketches, the one with like the tear gas mask and having like the Hong Kong flower on the side and like the words and like written in Chinese like free Hong Kong on top.
So you're going to do, actually, I thought you were going to do the one just to the right of that, are you?
I think I'm gonna mix both elements somehow.
Okay. Well, actually, when you build this in Photoshop, you'll be able to, build a layer for each one of those different possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, yes, you can do both of them and just turn layers on and off using layer comps. And what's the size of the banner going to be?
I think it was gonna be. I didn't write it down. I was looking at the figure that you were showing us earlier. I think it's not the. It was like the second one,
Okay.
like narrow and a little
What I
short.
what I would do right here is take this. In fact, let's do this real quick. Grab one of the two bottom ones here. We're in Photoshop, right?
No, right now I'm in preview.
Preview. Can you get us into Photoshop? And do you guys know how to change your finder so that it always opens JPEGs? And this is actually a camera picture here. You notice the HEIC at the top? You guys run into that? That's a high efficiency something or other. It's not really a JPEG. And it won't go into documents sometimes. So you have to take
Yeah,
it
I
in
noticed
Photoshop.
that you have to change that setting on your iPhone camera
Yeah,
because I was noticing that, so I had to change it back that it would send as JPEGs instead of the HEIC.
right. So you go in through settings and camera, right? And you change it
Yeah.
from HEIC.
Oh, okay. I have a little problem with my Photoshop at the moment. I forgot to
Okay.
change my payment thing. So
Okay.
that's not possible at the moment, but we'll do that after class.
Is there, I haven't figured this out yet. There's a way to transfer documents through Zoom. But
It's gonna go away. That'd be great.
Victoria, if you would, did somebody have an answer for it? I haven't tried it before. But if you could take this document for me and just send it via text message right away, then I'll be able to show people what I wanted you to have to do
Okay.
for it.
What was the question?
Can we transfer documents through, I think you might, well, no, that's different, through Zoom?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Be nice. But the text messages are really fast.
There you go. I just sent it.
Okay. There we go. That's fast enough. Plenty. Okay, open. Okay, I'm going to get you back on here. One thing you can do pretty quickly is take your sketch, copy it, paste. Command new, clipboard, Command V. All right, Command L. I'm just going to boost the contrast a little bit. A little bit too much. That's plenty good. Now, if you want to get rid of that yellow cast when you're showing people pictures, just go to Image, Mode, Grayscale. Discard the color. So that looks more like black and white. But the important thing is also to go back, Image, Mode, RGB, so it's usable as an RGB file. So now it's less yellow. And then what I do is I'll go to Command T for transform, edit, transform, distort. And I'll drop on guidelines, which we can't see because I got into Command T too soon. There we go, guideline, guideline. Then we do Command T. And you just pull these, Shift key, pull it sideways. We should be in free distort. Image, edit, transform, distort. Okay, so now it's back to pretty close to what you had. And then using just the regular marquee tool. If you can, you should always use the marquee tool and not that vector shape. Okay, so I got that. Image, crop. So that's the whole picture now. That's what your banner would look like if it weren't distorted by the camera.
Mhm.
Select all, copy, and then I'm going to switch over to Illustrator. Can you see Illustrator?
Can I use Illustrator? No,
Or
I
can you
can't.
see it?
Oh,
No.
no.
Oh,
Still
okay.
Photoshop.
Something they need to work on there. But it was never meant to be used the way we're using it now. So, okay, there's the lamppost, and then I'm going to Ooh, thunder. Sorry, I gotta copy that again. Photoshop, be right back. Save as. VP banner, spot color, Photoshop. We're gonna make it a JPEG to make it small. Save. Okay. Can you see me back in Illustrator now?
Mhm.
Okay. We're going to place. I'll go to spot color. That right there. We dropped that on there. Scale it down a little bit. Now, if you really want to get tricky with it, not tricky, we're going to bring this to the front, the frame, the 3x8 frame. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the white fill for now. I'm going to grab the back banner, place it right there, and then I can take this, and then I selected them both, object, clipping mask, make. And so now it cuts it down to exactly the banner itself. So this is a great way to take your sketches and make sure they're going to work. You know, if you wanted a 2x8, this your sketch would not have worked in a 2x8. You'd have to redesign it a little bit and redraw it. So that's really one of the first steps I do, is take a rough of the banner or any object like this, a poster, etc., and drop it in and mask it and say, okay, I like that. That looks good. And then I can also take this, select all this, option, click, drag. That's about where they hang. So that's what it looks like with a human underneath it. And that's a 20-foot light pole is fairly tall for a light pole. But you can, you know, you would be designing most of the time for a specific location. But even there, at that, at a 4-foot lower post, 2-foot lower post, it works. So now we're in good shape there. So that's what I would do with the thing that I gave you, the illustrator piece I gave you, and your sketches. So I'm going to give you back the screen, whoever's next, and let's just see what you got going.
I can go.
Okay. Okay, we got your swords.
Yeah, so I just did like 5 sketches. I think
Mhm.
this is for the one in case I wanted to make one on the side of a bus.
Mm-hmm.
It's more horizontal. This is one of the ones I wanted to focus on, was the horse armor. And then this was the final design I think I wanted to do. But I chose 2 designs. I did this one and this one.
Okay.
So I brought them into Photoshop and I made the size similar to how the banner would be. So
Okay,
this is the first one, and then
what
this is
size
the
is it?
second one. I think it's 3x6.
Let's hit Option Command I. Oh, I'm sorry, you're on the PC. It's
Yeah, Alt Control I.
Alt Control, yeah.
3x6, yeah.
3x6, good.
Um,
And this, you're working in exactly the same scale that I'm working in Illustrator. So you could easily take this and place it and see how it looks next to a human. And I think everybody should do that, is just place it into the Illustrator piece so you know how it's going to look.
right.
All right.
And so what I did was just to take a step further and visualize it easier, I just
Sure.
add the red background and put the matte underneath.
Nice.
See how both of them would look like. With the red, I think this one looks better, but I still like this design better, so I'm not quite sure which one to do yet.
Yeah,
I'm still
once we
stuck on them.
finish with what we're doing today, you'll be doing a couple extra steps and you get a stronger idea of what it's going to look like. And you can still, in the first part of this, still work fairly rough and get what you're looking for. And you
Yeah.
know that Met has their own specific logo.
Hmm. Yeah.
And if you can't get it from their site, then you guys know Brands of the World?
Yeah.
.ru, I think. You might be able to find it there as well. If not, I probably have it. Okay, good. Let's go. Who's next?
I can go.
Okay.
Let me just pull it up. You guys can see? Yes, no, maybe.
I see, yeah, I see Blackboard.
Okay, because that's where I uploaded the sketches.
Okay.
But I can also just pull them up on here. So mine aren't scaled to size yet because I'm still playing around with the look of it because I didn't get to show these last class.
Right.
So I'm playing around with the idea of doing different silhouettes for each banner, different silhouettes of different women,
Okay.
and then playing around with the type. So this was one of them. I think I might want to do have Hear Our Voice be like the main tagline. Here's one that's inspired by Angela Davis.
Okay.
And then I have this one because I wanted to include a woman in a hijab.
What do you guys think?
I like that.
Yeah, I like them. I would like to see you try one more thing with them,
Mhm.
and that's with the fist. This one it comes close, but is there any way you can get the fist completely behind their heads so it's like behind almost the entire sketch?
Like much bigger.
Much bigger and behind everything. So there might be some overprinting, which would look cool, or you could knock out stuff. Really can't knock out because you need the words. But what
Yeah.
happens if you overprint?
Okay, I can
Well,
try that.
Yes, very nice.
Okay, I'll do that and then move on to scaling them on a banner.
You're going to give her eyes, right?
No, none of them have eyes. I kind of like just the eyebrows and the lips. I just imagined it printed like solid colors for each, like the skin tone, the hair, the clothing, eyebrows, and lips, because then you're drawn more to the type.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of liked it, but I will try it either way.
You know what I would suggest is having those assets ready
Mm-hmm.
for Photoshop. You can turn them on and off.
Yeah. Okay.
The things I always wonder about when I see someone who doesn't draw the eyes or nostrils even, is that if you do it, and you can do it, if you do it right, it doesn't look like you didn't draw them in because you couldn't draw them in well. A lot of people
I do
do
hate
that.
drawing eyes, so that's probably a reason.
So, if you can, and if it makes a difference, it may look better without the eyes.
Yeah.
But I want you to try it both ways.
Okay.
Okay, great.
So Tessa, how are you planning to? Are you like gonna make your own figures in Illustrator and then bring them into Photoshop?
I will probably do this in Procreate and then bring it in through layers
Oh, okay.
so that they are already so I don't have to make vectors or pen tool it.
Gotcha.
There's also coming up in my demonstration that famous cover from Springsteen and Clarence Clements, and I'll show you what I can do with that. And sometimes the photograph works very well.
Okay.
All right. I'm ready.
I can go.
Okay.
Okay, so I was going off
Nice.
of the sketch. Last class you told us to take one or two that we liked the best and put them into color and rearrange them. So that's what I did. I'll show you guys. So this is the first one that I have. I didn't print it out or anything, so obviously the pictures aren't amazing, but this is the sketch that I have right now.
But it gives me a nice idea of how you're going to use color.
Yeah, so that's the second one.
And Tessa and Victoria, we didn't talk about that when we had our meetings.
Mm.
The color. Okay.
Third one, fourth, and fifth.
Good.
Yeah.
So again, this is you're going to have a whole vocabulary that you're going to build, the skull and peep and the letters and everything else, and you'll be able to
Right.
put them in and out on layers and check them all out and rearrange them.
Yeah. So.
Good.
Mhm.
That's what we wanted. Let's see. Let's go back to Little Peep for a
sorry.
second. Sorry.
That's okay. Which one?
Any of them. This one's fine.
Okay.
Because it is an event banner, we do need to know when and where.
So I didn't want to do I have to do an event? Because like I kind of just wanted to do, so his new documentary just came out on Netflix.
Okay,
I kind of wanted to do just like,
then that's fine. But let's look at where it says now on Netflix, because I missed that when I looked at it.
yeah, it's on, I just added that in like when I was doing it, but
So we've got Little Peep as some words. Everybody's Everything. Does that have a styled headline
yeah,
right now?
it does, yeah.
So you may be able to use that. But I would separate the title of the doc from now on Netflix.
Okay.
And especially with Netflix, if you use Netflix logo, at least they're shaped. Doesn't have to be red, but well, red would be good too. But if it said now on and Netflix was in the logo,
Mhm.
again, somebody going by real quick, they'd be able to identify that, because we went by these fairly quickly like you're supposed to, and I just missed that.
Yeah, I kind of just threw it in there just to show
It's a
you
good
guys
thing to put in there. I like it.
where I would put it. That's kind of why I want the circle, you know, on the bottom here, on the bottom here.
Yeah.
This is the first one I did, so this is the only one that doesn't have it in there yet.
So I
But
would separate those two messages. One is the headline from the doc.
yeah, can I
Right.
do like two circles? I was thinking having them, you see how these are like cropped, and then do like another one like up here or something and have them overlap with color, and then
And make
how,
the Netflix really apparent with its customary logo.
yeah,
Very nice.
thanks.
Alyssa, thanks for volunteering.
So I don't really have the proportions down yet. But I was just trying to get the ideas down. Wait a second. I'm just gonna open all of them now.
Okay.
Okay. So I have this one that I'm
Okay.
doing Blondie. And then I just have like one of their songs on it. And then this one's another one of their songs. And I would have it like black and white. And then just have the red peeking out.
Okay.
And then this one, I would do like a color instead of black. And then do the same thing for the title.
Okay, what do you guys think?
I
Let's not worry about format yet, just the whole idea of putting these images together.
like the second one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That one there?
No, the one you just had it on, sorry.
Third
Oh,
one.
this
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot too. I think
Me
it's
too.
interesting with the different zooms on her face.
That you could very easily translate that to vertical.
Mm-hmm.
So what's it a banner for?
I'm not really sure. I just thought it was cool.
Okay. But what could what could we use that banner for? What kind of event or occasion or whatever we want to call it?
Um,
Anybody have an idea? Just toss it in.
Could be like for their tour, right?
Pardon?
Could be like for a tour. Something
Yeah,
like
for the tour.
I don't know if they still exist, but you can make it up.
Yeah. So figure out a tour, 2020 tour. Does it have a name? Blondie 2020, whatever, and work that in there. And then we'll go up to a vertical, and I think it's got great potential.
got it.
Okay, good.
I could go.
All right, Eva's gonna literally step up to the plate here.
Okay. I forgot to screen share before I got off.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. This is them. I don't know why when you were showing it, it's like I thought it had to be in black and white, but it's in color. So these are just the more refined sketches. I took what you said and put it kind of on the back of the bus.
Okay.
Yeah. I was looking up like the big school bus, not school buses, but like the tour buses, and they always have like a fat window on the backside.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of like was looking at what would be the best option for putting that on there. And then this is the tour one, but I was thinking probably the 3x8 would work better because the photo itself that I want to like take reference off of is wider.
Okay.
But I can show you the colored one.
Sure.
It kind of looks a little bit more yellow than orange, but does this thing move? Oh,
There we go.
so it's the main color is going to be the orange, and then it's black, white, and like maybe a little like gray, but yeah.
All right. You know what? I like the fact that you considered the back of the bus, and I actually would like to see a kind of a combination, a mashup of the two, where imagine taking the bear tooth on the right, 2020 tour, etc., and making it the centerpiece of your banner, but don't get rid of the guys. Have those silhouettes there, and the other information. So you're either knocking stuff out. Maybe the guys are in black and halftone dots, and they're printed over. What color would the big B be?
It would either be because it's supposed to look like spray paint on the brick that's on the photo.
Yep.
So it could be kind of whatever looks best. Maybe the white, once I get in there playing around the white might not be like the brightest, so maybe black. Yep. But I think that would kind of have to be determined like with layers, just going back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing us.
Yeah, and if you had that kind of dominance of the 2020 tour, like you have on the right side, on the left side, but you can still put the figures as, like I said, different kind of treatment, but you can put them over that B and think of ways that, and play in Photoshop with ways that you can make the B and the 2020 tour, etc., show up even though the guys are standing in front of it.
Okay.
So play with your layers and opacities and stuff like that, and I think it could be really good.
Okay.
Okay, nice. Next.
I can go.
Okay. Did you get your Wix thing figured out?
Yeah, I did. It just sucks because a lot of it didn't save.
Yeah, and always make sure there is a save button and it's not terribly apparent.
Yeah. Okay, so these are my vehicles. These are from like last time.
Yep.
And then these were like my sketches from before. So then this is one idea for a banner. It's
Okay.
for like a festival that they're playing in later this year. And then I would kind of do like a series of them, kind of like how you showed of like LACMA, where it was like kind of like, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like different information on each one.
The Shogun one had like 6 different
Yeah.
variations. Yeah.
So
That's the kind of thing you
kind of what
can
I was
run right down the
thinking.
street on, you have all 4 of the cooks. from the
Yeah. So
different
then I
backgrounds.
wanted to like play around with like the type, but like if I was doing a series, like how you were like driving and you would see like a little bit of each, like of the text. So I'd probably do like fever on one, pitch, and then music festival, and then have like 2020 going across all of them.
Yeah.
And then it's in the UK, so I wanted to do like the United Kingdom flag in the background of each one.
Okay, so if you do the UK flag, you can either do a variation, an abstraction of it, or it's going to make your colors be red, white, and blue, or some of the colors red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
So what colors are you thinking of? Now, the Union Jack doesn't have to be red, white, and blue. I've got a neighbor here who's got a Mini Cooper. It's all grays. And you know how on the Coopers, the rear view mirrors, you can
Yeah.
put British flags on there? They're all in shades of gray. It's a really
So
cool
yeah.
looking car. Very nice, elegant look to it.
Yeah, maybe I'll have something like that, and then it would match like whatever colors I did for that. It would be like the banner at the bottom.
Alrighty. And can we go
Yeah.
back to a couple of sketches? Keep going. I like that one too, but keep going. Okay, these are yours, right?
Yeah.
There's something really, the red one up there.
So
There's something about that I like.
yeah, it was like one of their album covers that I just redid.
But if you could take that kind of technique and apply it, let's go back to the guys in their t-shirts.
Which ones?
You know, that go back and look at the thing later, but that red doesn't really follow a distinct contour. But
Yeah.
if the t-shirts and all and their lines and their faces were overprinted in black or knocked out in black, you could do something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be very
I
cool
think it'd be
looking.
more of like when I get into Photoshop, just playing around with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Aaron, did we do yours? There we go.
So I colored mine in from last time.
Good.
And this is just to show that it'd be like the halftone printed. I might make it bigger. And I didn't write it down yet, but in the boxes I'm gonna write the information for their tour dates and stuff.
Okay.
Because they're doing a show coming up actually in 2 weeks, like online, for like donations for what's going on.
Yeah.
We could put that in the squares and have it overlap with the colors.
Very cool. Yeah.
And then this was another color one. This would also be halftone, but I want like colors printed behind the halftone so that they don't just blend into the yellow, that like you could tell it's different people and not just a blob.
Yep. Good. I like them.
Thank you.
Who's next in line? Steven,
can
do you have
go.
anything? Oh, Mario, go ahead.
Let me pull up the. Oh wait, here, Steven, go first. I can't. I have to resend it to myself.
So, Steven, you ready?
I don't want my sketch.
Yeah. Just give me 1 sec. This to upload my photos, and I'll be ready. All right. Just 1 minute. All right. Oh, damn it. Second. Wait.
Okay, Mario, you ready?
I don't know why my phone's refusing to send my
Okay.
it's I have a picture of my sketches on my phone that I'm trying to mail to myself so I can share the screen, and it's not letting me share it.
Okay.
I don't know why. Let me
I'll
try to
be ready.
recreate the picture.
I'm just uploading a couple of last thingies because my way of doing it is slow.
So are you going?
All right, let's see here.
And Mario, if you could try sending it to me and see if it goes, and I can display it.
Okay.
Here's no. That's
Hey,
not the-
Steven.
So this is what I initially drew, like the two scale ones, and I hated both of them. So I started messing around with like the different ways I could draw it. And then I started like taking notes on what I could do. So like it's hard to draw bodies getting smaller unless like you have like a good reference, and I just kind of quickly jotting these down because I really wanted to get on to the next one and the next one as I was going. So they are a bit scuffed, but the final product, of course, will be polished. So when I did this, I was like, because like a lot of times there's two banners hanging side by side, right? And so I was thinking maybe one of the concepts could be like that. And so then I realized that a heart overlay on the head doesn't make much sense when you think about it.
Okay.
So I was thinking of like changing up that one concept. When I was looking at this, I quickly jotted this down because I saw like how other people were doing stuff, and I kind of liked how like they had like different sort of compilations. So I sort of this is like one of the pictures, like it was like of a nervous system. So I just slapped that in there with the other thing, and how you want like people to be able to see the words as they drive by.
Yep.
And this would be like a cross section sort of deal instead of like a heart. And this is just more ways I could draw the body stacked on top of each other because I know you like that, John.
Yep.
Random space filler. Yeah, and then this was another idea where there's no like regular people stacked up, but like that'd be another split one.
Right.
But I think something like that.
Let's go with that one.
Yeah, that one, of course. And
Yep.
just figure
Now
out
think
different
about this, Stephen. If you went with the one on the left, but created the cross section of the head there, and somehow worked it into the design, overprinting, underprinting it, whatever, behind the bodies, across the bodies, through the bodies. So you have scale in the cross sections of the full body, but then you've also got, you know, the cross section of the head. If you go in, when you get a second, go back and look at those banners that I did. There's one that's almost all, I'll call it up in a few minutes and I'll show it to you. Okay?
Wait, what was that? My brother was talking in the background and it distracted me.
Bothering your brother. Let Stephen alone. So if you take the one on the left that we're looking at and somehow incorporated at that scale the cross section of the head into the design.
Like stick it like in like sort of like transparent background, just sort of like a transparent compilation.
Sort of. I'll show you when I get a chance here in a few minutes. I'll call it up on one of my examples and show you the kind of thing I was talking about.
All right.
Okay?
Sure.
Good. You got a direction to go in. Good. How you doing, Mario?
Good. It finally sent. I might be
Okay.
getting like 6 emails soon, but at least one went through. So that's good.
Oh, to me?
No, to my the one that went to me as I was trying to send it to, so I just didn't send it because it went to my screen.
Okay.
Again, sorry, I'm not sharing video. I had it on in the beginning of class, and then it kept kicking me off already.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long this sharing screen will last, but we'll see.
We'll give it a shot.
So these on the left are like similar with sketches, but just different sizes. One's 36 by the 18. I kind of like this size more than I like this size because I feel like it's too stretched out.
Okay.
I'd rather be like kind of more compact with the name on the side and the top, and then the picture kind of like on the like on the right, but mostly also in the middle, I guess. And then this one was the largest scale. So I like this. I just like the thought of it being large, very large, so you can see the art.
Yep.
Like that's the focal point. With the name large on top, of course. So really the focal point is like the art with the name, and then you still have the logo of MoMA at the bottom.
Yep. What do you guys think? 1, 2, or 3?
I like this third one.
Me too.
I like
Yeah,
the third
I
one
like
too.
that one too.
Yeah, that's my
I like
favorite.
the third one. You're going to have to do a little abstraction with line and color to get it down to just a couple of colors.
Yeah.
But I really think it's got a lot of potential. And then when it comes to the text, I think you just need to put the word Picasso and MoMA, and that's it. Well, you need a
Okay.
date.
Okay.
So you need to get some dates on there somewhere.
Yeah.
Great.
I just have one question.
Yep.
So like you said to reduce color, say just like hypothetically I used red and blue, then like that could also give me purple, correct? So like that would be a good way to get around it.
Yeah, if you if you overprint red on top of blue or vice versa, then you will get purple. It'll be a darker purple than the others. It won't be equal in value. It'll be much darker in value than the red
Yeah.
or the blue.
Got yeah, makes sense.
So if that doesn't work, but like I said, you can do that in Photoshop, and you multiply them, and you get a good idea of what it's going to look like. And if it doesn't work
Okay.
for you, then we just do knockouts and stuff, and like we've been doing before, I've been demonstrating before, and you put a purple in there that you like, or a black.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay. So let's see, we've been at it for a little over an hour. You want to take 10 minutes? And then we'll go into my demonstration. Good. Take 10. We'll see it at 1:35, 36.
Thank you.
Interest, good. Okay, spot color. So I was looking for different things to work with. No specific project in mind. But one of them was, or several of them were, some mid-century modern stuff that we might be able to use. I might be able to use. I've downloaded this one already. These signs lend themselves well to it. This one lends itself well to the kind of color that we're doing. So I will take that. Nope, wrong one. Download that image. And then this, the different type of image. This is very geometric. This is all grays. So I thought I might do some, play around with that for a little bit. And we'll grab one of these signs. Okay, now. Give me a second just to move things. from download into spot color. That's not the one. Okay. All right. I'll go back into Photoshop. You guys still see Photoshop, right?
I'm on the website.
Oh, we see Pinterest. I mean, I see Pinterest.
Pinterest, okay. Is everybody back on the red Photoshop?
No.
Nope, okay. Just gotta let me know.
Now we're on Photoshop.
Good. So when I'm working with assets, oops, Command open, something like that. When you're choosing your assets, you should always be looking at possibilities. Can things be worked out or can things not be worked out? Let's grab this first one. That by itself is not what you want for one of your channels. But I could imagine that being 3 of the channels or 4 of the channels or 1 of the channels. If I wanted to make it 1 of the channels, what I would do is I would take that and then go over to grayscale. So now I'm in this right here. And then what I can do is go to Command L and play around with contrast. In fact, if you go to this white eyedropper, you say, I want this to be white. It will automatically make everything in that shade white. And then if I want everything that's in these shades to be black, I can go to the black eyedropper. And you see how quickly it turns it into a black and white piece that I could use. Now, once I've got that done, a little bit of handwork. In this case, I'll probably use the polygon lasso. Click, and there, and then straight down. Whoops, too far. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Want to get rid of this post. I could leave them in there too, but right now I feel like getting rid of them. Background color is white. No, it's not.
I think there's a gradient in the background.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to try and use this. And maybe I'll try again with Command L and say I want this gray to be white. That gets most of it. There, there. Didn't get exactly what I wanted. Set that so that the background should be white. Yep. So I can remove those if I want to. I'm not going to make you sit through this while I keep removing those. And now I'm going to use the information window. Whoops, that's invert. Window, info. And if I roll over, I can see whether or not it's, you can't see my finger. This area right here will tell me what its value is in black and white. So I might have to go back to Command L again, push them, roll over. We're at 9%. Still a little bit up there. Command L, white. Try and find my darkest gray. I think I nailed it there. See how the black is now 13 is what it was when we first got in here, and the 0 means it's now 0. Good. So there's one asset set to go. There. Good. And the JPEG options, the image quality, it's really talking about color. You can reduce the amount of size, amount of file space it takes up. This really isn't taking up much file space, I don't think, but I'll set it down to medium. And that's going to be one of my channels. I haven't figured out what I'm doing with it yet, but it's going to be one of my channels. Now that was a fairly geometric form. Looked like it came out of Illustrator. But there are other ones we can use, other types of files you can use. Spot color, date modified. What's this one? Nope, don't want that one. We're in date modified, good. Today, that's one we just used. Olivia, okay, there's Olivia. Now that is not completely black and white. Or not completely black or white, it's got grays in it. So I'd open that. Now I can decide whether I want to have a little bit of gray in the background or not. In this case, I don't want any gray in the background. Go to Command L. Basically the same thing. You can start this way with the white eyedropper and say that right there. Everything beyond that is going to be white. Okay, I should go back to the step that says make it all grayscale. And then these are black, these are black. I kind of like a little bit of tone right there. So we're going to save this now. And then I'll go back to my research. Okay, mid-century modern art. Open that. Now this, for speed right now, I'm going to take that and just do it as a Photoshop photograph. You could very easily create one of these in Illustrator. So I'm going to crop it. Command L again. What I'm going to do is set the white in the background for all this. Okay. And then I'm going to switch it over to grayscale. Now, why do I keep going over to grayscale? Anybody?
For an easier selection.
Yeah, well, it's easier selection, plus all your channels are black, grays, and whites in Photoshop when you're dealing with spot color. So the color will never translate over to Photoshop. Image, mode, grayscale, discard the color. And then I can leave it like this, or I can take it and go with levels and manipulate all of them so they're all black like that. But you can see I pick up some junk on the sides. I can also, let's see, cancel, use my magic wand tool. I can select that one and this one and this one and this one. And I can change those. I can go to Command L again, and I can make just those good and dark. And deselect, and I missed a little spot right here. So it's not an instantaneous process. It's drawing. You have to go in and actually draw what you want. Okay, Option Delete, fill that in. So now I've changed that a lot. And I can also, if I wanted to, which we might do later, Command 0, don't you want to go down? If I wanted to, I can make this one spot color. So say it was purple. This right here, these would be full value purple. This would be almost, 20%, 30% of the same Pantone ink purple. But what I can do is I can take this and duplicate it in another channel and remove some of the rectangles in one channel and remove other rectangles in another channel. So I could have a series of squares that are, say pink and then purple, just by using multiple channels and removing the pieces that I don't want. Okay, we'll save that. Mid-century, that's good. That's another kind, that's a very geometric. Like I said, you could also go in, and if you wanted to do an original pattern back there, you could do that, or with this in Illustrator, or you could do it here too with just the marquee, the rectangular marquee, fill them with color in its own separate file, and then we'll bring it over as a channel. Another type is the one I was telling you earlier I was going to show you, and that was, oops, hang on one second, somebody at the door. Sorry about that. Okay, so what I want to do is go back into share. And then down near the bottom, that famous picture of Springsteen. Now, this one is a great candidate for dot screen. First thing I'll do is get rid of this extra stuff around the outside. Image. Crop, where are you? There you are. Okay. Now this, even though it is a grayscale picture, it's in RGB right now, so I'm going to switch it over to grayscale. And then I'm going to play with the contrast. Okay, so I'm bringing up the midtones. And then pushing the blacks again. I'd say we like that. Okay, we like it. We're going to save it. Save as. And then my next thing to do is I want to go into, where is that? Filters. Distort, noise, pixelate, color halftone. And we're going to take a look at what happens with the color halftone. Now we lose too much of them, maybe. Okay, I'm going to reduce the maximum radius. Try 2. We'll try 4. Good. I like it. They'll show up. Save it again, save as again, the dot. And there was one last one. Open. That's the Jetson world here. Okay, yes. This one took a little bit more work than the others, but not much. There's Jetson World, and then there's one. There's its original is what I'm looking for. Download. Date modified. There we go. Okay. It'll be showing up in a minute. You see the Jetsons world now? And I did this one ahead of time, or during our break actually. Jetson world, where are you? Not downloads. We are in spot colors. Name. Okay, so I was able to take that and I hate that thing. This one, and you can see it's a low res one, but create that with it as another channel. It took a little sloppy work here. You can see it. My apologies. But I had to go through, set levels, and actually scoop out stuff with the eraser and the selection tool. So I had just what I wanted there. So now I've got all my assets. This is where we start to build it again in Photoshop. Now, we'll do a 3x8 banner. Command new. Switch it over to inches. 3 inches. Now you should, and there's no, the largest we're going to print this at would be 19 inches. We're just under it, 18 inches. So what I'm going to do is, instead of being 3x8 inches, I'm going to make it 6x16, same proportions. No, not there. it just gives me a bigger field to work on, which means I'll get better quality, hopefully, in the printout. All right. Now, what are we going to do with all these assets? Let's figure that out. We're going to do some kind of thing, but I'm going to take that background we just saw. First, I'm going to start with a background layer. Got to get you guys out of the way for a second. We're going to have a background layer there. We are in RGB. None of the RGB channels are eventually ever going to come through, but we want to get all those pieces in here. So the first layer actually should be a color layer. And let's just say my background of the banner is going to be this blue right here. So select all, option delete, come in. I think that over Zoom, it kind of overrides your quick keys. So we got to go to fill, edit fill, there, okay. So that's one color we're going to be using. Then I'm going to create, these are layers now. I'm going to create a layer, second layer. I'm going to go to Jetson World, select all, copy. We'll go back into the untitled one to start with. And now I'm going to paste another full layer in there. Okay, don't worry about the fact that there's white there because we're going to get rid of it later. But I can at least resize it to a, I know I have to bring it out at least this far so I don't get the chopped off ellipse. And then I'll be able to move it up and down wherever I want to later. But we'll put it here for now. So there's another layer. Create a third layer. We'll get rid of the Jetson World because we don't need it anymore. This one I think we can get rid of. Then throw pillow. Okay, we'll select all. We'll copy. Go back over to the untitled one right now. I really should be a good designer and name it. Okay, we got a layer, blank layer, good. We got that right there. And I'm just separating so I can see them now. And save. This would be the 4.9.2020 demo into assets, good. Save. We close up the throw pillow. We're getting there. The Capri sign, select all, copy. Into the demo. Again, when you paste it in, it automatically gives you a new layer. Command T. I could shrink it down so everything fits. Or do something funky with it. We've always got the original I can go back to. So this should be Capri. This one would be squares. Jetson, so I'm naming them so I can see them all and find them all quickly. And the last one will be the Springsteen one. Oh, we got Olivia too. We'll do Olivia. Select all. We're going to leave her there for now because I might use her large but cropped. And the same with Bustin' in the City. We'll leave that because we'll bring it in a minute. So I'm going to do a real fine composition for you now. So we've got a blue background. We've got all these resources here. And what I want to do is, and what you are going to want to do is just select each one, select all, copy, and then we're going to go to channels. And we're going to create a new channel. Oops, I had the wrong layer selected. I got my Jetson World there. Jetson. Now, if I go back to this and then go back to my layers, my layer comps, and I turn these off, you can see now about where that channel is going to show up, right? Yeah, I can't see you guys, so you got to yell.
Yeah.
But you can see there's the channel. If I want to, I can always go back into my channels, double click. Really can't see that very well, so I might pick a different color. That makes it easier for me to see. Doesn't change any colors in terms of printing, but it makes it easier for me to see. So very quickly, hopefully, go to layers, turn these on, make sure I turn on the RGBs. Yep, make sure I'm working in RGB. Layers, and this time I did the Jetsons. We'll do the squares, turn off Capri for a minute, select all, Command copy. Now, when we go to channels, if you had happened to have placed and composed these squares exactly where you wanted them, what you would do is create a new layer. And then instead of just pasting it in there, paste special, paste in place. Now it's exactly where I had it. I mean, it really wasn't a big deal in this case. But it is possible to maintain your composition that way. Double click on this. We don't want green. We want nice dark red. Oops. And every step of the way, I go back and I turn on both the layers. Both the channels. So that way I know they're there. And if the squares aren't dark enough, I can always come over here and make them say 70% or even 100%. Makes it a little easier to see. Okay, RGB, layers, Capri sign, select all, Command copy, channels, new channel, Capri layer, paste, double click, change color, there, okay, okay, turn on, so I see I have everything there. So those I think were all the layers, yep, all the layers except for the ones I left in their documents. So again, this is what you want to do is turn off these. Now I'm looking, turned off layers. I'm looking at channels. I can look at one channel at a time. Everything here is 100%. So the black, or it's basically 100%. The squares, there are some lesser degrees here. But everything is black. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I've got 3 out of my 5 assets are in channels. They were first converted to grayscale. And then I played with contrast to get some really strong blacks, but you don't have to have all blacks. The squares aren't all black, but there's a range of grays in there that I can work with. And then I've got my other assets that I can bring in. So what I'm going to do to start with is just leave things where they are. I think, yeah, it looks fine the way it is. It's a marvelous composition. Maybe I'll move the Jetsons down a little bit. Oh, that was wonderful. Great. Command D for deselect. And now what you're going to do is you're going to work in the RGB layers to get the colors you want. It's much easier to do this. We're never going to get rid of these channels, but we're going to work in RGB layers to find the stuff that we like. So I'll go back to RGB, and I know it's that blue background, which we'll deal with later. That will eventually become another channel, just solid black, and we'll assign the Pantone color to that. So we'll start with the Jetson, Okay, that's where it's going to go. And let's say, what do we want to do with the Jetsons here? Let's knock the Jetsons out completely. So it's going to be the white of the substrate. So I select Jetson, and then I can just take this and drag it down to here. And now I want to see it as a KO, but I don't want to KO the blue background. So what I'm going to do is, for now, fill it with white. Command H hides that. Option delete should fill it with the white foreground. Turn this off. We'll go to RGB. Go to layers. And okay, we'll try this again. We've got these original layers. What I want to do, the step I almost forgot. We want to take these original right here, create a folder. We'll take these and tuck them away in that layer group. So they're there, but we've got them hidden. Everything's going to be built on top of layer 1. So we make a new layer. And in this layer is where we're going to put the white. We go back to channel. Jetson, good. Activate the channel. Hide the marquee. Get us back into the RGB layer. So we're working in real color now. We work on a real color layer. And then the other thing I did wrong was, you look down here, I had the blue chosen as my foreground color and the white as a background color, and it didn't fill with white because I hit Option Delete, which filled it with the blue instead of the white. So if I do Command Delete, there's my white. So Option Delete fills with the foreground, Command Delete fills with the background color. So again, this is a simulation of color. We're going to go back eventually and use the real channels and make real choices of them. So we're going to go back to another channel. Let's go to the squares. Oops. We're in squares, not in RGB. Let's say we want, no, put this up in the sky. It doesn't quite reach the edges. Excuse me. So Command T, squares. We're in squares. There we go. I'm going to just size them up a little bit so we don't get any white spots on the edges. Okay. And then I want to go back in it. To me, it looks gray. So just keep an eye on things. Go to white and say, make that white, make that white. Okay, it says it's white. Check it out. Good. It could just be an illusion from staring at the screen. But now I know the background's white. So now I can take my squares and activate them. And I want this to appear as a color layer. So I go back to RGB, work in layers, create a new layer. This has got the Jetsons in it. New layer. It's going to be squares 1. And I'm going to fill that with what would look cool. Purple? Sure. Option delete. Deselect. And so I've got these square clouds in my sky. Now this is all, as I said, simulation, but we need to get it down to what we want it to look like before we can then assign the channels. So I'm going to go to channels, Jetson squares, Capri. I'll just pull the Capri down so that the legs sit on the ground so it looks a little more normal. Activate it. Go into RGB. Create a layer for it to go into. Capri. And we'll pick a nice orange. That would be lovely. Okay, option delete. Now I don't want the Capri, Command D for deselect. I don't want it blocking the Jetson city, but I do want it in front of that lower square at the top of the Capri sign. So I just use my layers, pull it down here. That still in front of the Jetsons, want it behind the Jetsons. Now, if I want it in front of this, I'll have to do something fancy. I'm going to leave it like this. But you see how I slid it down behind there? So I'm playing with the layering right now. Next, we'll bring the girl in, we'll bring Springsteen in, and then we'll have a composition. So we go to Olivia, select all, Command copy, and we'll paste her in. Make sure she's got her, well, she'll get her own layer when I paste her in. And I left her big because I don't want to use the whole face. I want to use half her face. And then I'm also going to do something strange, surprise, but let's roll her over. Now this is a layer. She's not a channel yet, but now I like her. Okay, select all again, go into the channels. So now I have a channel to work with. Back to the layers, this layer right here, select all, copy, go back to my channels. There's my Olivia channel. I'm going to paste her in place. All right, Command D. And now if I turn on the RGB layers, turn off this one, we can see where Olivia's face is going to go. For now, I'm going to change Olivia's channel to black, but it will be black at 70%. Okay. And the last thing I have to add is Springsteen, and I'm going to put him across the bottom too. He and Clarence are going down at the bottom. Save. New, close that. Bust in there, gray dot, good. Select all, copy. Demo. These guys are going to get a new layer. Oops. RGB, layers. I want them on top. So paste in there. And now I could just have Clarence if I wanted to. That's the reason I left it big in the other file, so I could play with the cropping on this. So you still have all the rest of the picture out here. It's only showing up here though. Yeah, that's good. I like that. something like that. And again, it's a dot screen, but it's in a color layer right now. So we select all, make sure we're in the right layer, copy it. We're going to go to channels, a new channel, paste it in place. Okay, and if I do a Command T, you see that's the area right there. There's no extra image left after I've copied it over. All right, deselect it for now. Then I'm going to go to that layer, RGB, layers, call this boss. Turn that off. We're going to go back to channels. This is boss. And let's see, what color should we give them? What haven't we used yet? And we used orange.
You could do green.
Yeah, we'll throw that on there. This is just preview coloring right now. So I turn them back on. There he is. There they are. There they are. There they are. Okay, so far so good. We're going to go back to RGB. And so we have to do Olivia and we have to do Springsteen. So I'm going to take Olivia and just grab the channel Olivia. And just by grabbing and pulling, it doesn't activate any visibility. It keeps me in the RGB layer. You can see the marquee. Because I'm in RGB, I can go back into my real color layers and turn that off, turn that off. Good. We're going to create a new layer. Olivia upside down. Command H to hide it. And then I'm going to select black for her and for Springsteen too. Okay, so I load it with my foreground color, which is Option Delete. She goes in there. Save it. And we're going to go back into channels. And we're going to activate the boss channel without changing visibility. So we're still in RGB. Go back to layers. And then we go to a new channel here. So it's going to be just above Olivia. Boss and big. Hide. Still have black as my foreground. Option Delete. And there we go. Get you guys back in here so I can see you. You see this right now, we're halfway through. And this is the point I'd like you to be at next class. We're not going to worry about the spot color channels yet. We'll do that next class. But do just what I did there, and I've been, hopefully it's still recording. I've been recording it. And so I've been assigning colors. This will not print as spot color right now because it is an RGB file. But this is what we want it to look like. And we can make it look like this if we want to. Okay? You ready to give that a shot for next class?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's a fairly big job. You're going to have to get all your assets in. You're going to have to create the contrast. And I did it in an hour. I'm not expecting you to do it in an hour for sure. If you have questions, if you get frustrated, if you try and load something and it never seems to work, let me know. We can look at it. It's usually the biggest things to look for are make sure that you're in channels or you're in layers, and also make sure that in your channels, when you're done working in a specific channel, before you go back to your color layers, turn on RGB. Otherwise, you do things and they just don't happen and you sit there and you bang your head against the table for a while. But give it a shot. You can see, I mean, this was a quick demo without any real thought behind it, it still looks kind of cool. I don't know what the Jetsons and Capri have to do with Springsteen and Olivia, but it looks cool. And so when we get finished, what we're going to end up doing actually is assigning, we're going to take it down to a multi-channel document. Every one of our, we'll get rid of the RGBs, and then every one of those channels will be assigned a PMS color. And one other thing we're going to do is combine Olivia with Boston Big, because they're all black. We only need one black spot channel. You ready to give it a shot?
Yep.
All right, go for it. Have fun. It should be a lot of fun. But try many different things. You know, you can, if I look at this and go, I'm not sure about that background color. What's nice is I can come in here with the background especially. I can go select all. What would it look like with a yellow background? It's going to look, well, I'll go with this hideous green instead. Now, what I wouldn't do with any of this stuff, after having shown you the first step, is whenever I do this, I make an extra channel, extra layer. So I've got a copy of it. I turn off that blue, and I'm going to work in that copy layer. Select all, option delete. Kind of looks like Howard Johnson's, the old Howard Johnson's. But what it does is it allows me to then choose this one or this one and compare the two. And then, don't forget, layer comps. So I could do, in my layer comp window, wherever that went, there, you can pull that out if you want to. Create a new layer comp. We call it blue background. Keep all these clicked. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here. Oops. RGB, layers. And then I create another layer comp. And I call it green background. So that you can easily go like this. I like this, that's pretty good. But then maybe I want, if I do the green background and I want a red Capri sign, I can go to my Capri layer. Now I can either reuse the channel, just like I did on another layer, or I can, if it's possible, create the new layer. We're here, you go to Command U or Control U, and now you roll it, and you see how the Capri changes? Ooh, that's kind of cool. And then I can darken it. Okay. There's my Capri copy. And to make a new layer comp, this is going to be green background, red Capri. You go, yeah, that's interesting. Not only can you change color, but we'll go to the Jetsons, wherever they are. Okay. Now, even though it's going to be in exactly the same spot, I'm still going to make a copy of it because I'm going to change its position, and layer comps should track that change, but why risk it? So we look at that, we like that, layer comp. Make sure you don't stick with just green numbers on your layer comps. Green background, red, Capri, and then the Jets. And so now you can show me and everybody else, 1, 2, 3, all these different looks. And I think when you start doing it, I mean, I love working in spot color. I think it does really dynamic things for you. And then when we do the channels and everything next time, we'll work with knockouts. We'll start taking out colors in the background so we don't overprint where we don't want to overprint. Because this right here, where her black hair goes over the red, Let's see, close this up a little bit. We go to multiply. Oops, wrong layers picked, sorry. Olivia upside down. There's a slight shift here. You can see some green through here. You can see some red. It darkens the black a little bit, especially when you get into grays though, you'll see a color shift. So we're going to talk about, and I've shown you once already, but we'll go through this, and what we'll do is knock out, if we stayed with this design, I would knock out the red Capri sign with the black from Olivia. And I would do the same down here. I would knock out all this red with the black from here, so I'm not overprinting colors. I like that. It's growing on me. Okay, so you want to be working in your RGB colors, and it's going to simulate the look that you want for the actual channels. And I've got several channels here. Where's I lost the Jetsons. Here we are. So I've got that to work with. And we can make it look just like this with channels and spot colors. All right? Go have fun. Thanks very much. I'll upload this.
Okay.
What's that?
I was just gonna ask where you were gonna post the recording.
Yeah, I've got one up in one of the discussion boards, and I'll add this to it. Great.
Thank you.
See you Monday.
See ya. We don't have class Monday.
Oh, yeah. See you Thursday. And then if anybody has any questions, let me know, and we can meet. I'm a heathen. I told somebody yesterday I don't take Friday or Monday off. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.